Hey Jewel fans!
I'm Chris.
And I'm Ronnie from the Jewel Writers Archive.
We're here today as part of our Archive Showcase series, and today we're going to be talking about your favorite and a lot of other people's favorite character,
Tamara!
Yes, we are talking about Jewel Adventure Tamara today.
The Deluxe Edition.
Deluxe Edition, yes.
Okay, it's mixed feelings on this one.
Why?
Because I told you when we reviewed the Deluxe Princess Gwenevere, she is my favorite of the Jewel Adventure.
Okay.
And I really like Fallon as well. I'm gonna have to say that Tamara is my least favorite.
That's a shocking statement from you. That's shocking.
It's a combination of everything. So one of the things though that I really have to point out that I have always not really cared for about the toy, the face. She looks so round. It just... she looks...
Is it just
a little chunky?
Is it the hair? It's like a big halo of hair.
I don't know what it is, but... And her face just looks so vapid.
Yeah, she's so funny. It's pretty much the same face as the Jewel.
Well, she looks worse on the back.
To be fair, yeah, the back of this box art is
the prototype.
The prototype is
Deluxe
not good.
Not flattering.
Not good.
Whereas the other ones are more beautiful.
It's so funny. You're right. Her face looks flat.
Mm-hmm.
There's no definition to it.
No, it looks so flat.
Oh, it's such an odd prototype.
And maybe that's what I think of when I think of Deluxe Tamara is the prototype, because she's not as round in the final production run. But just in that prototype, that's what I see, and that's what when I picture in my head. So it's a combination of that and just
so funny to me.
Her facial features, she just doesn't look happy or welcoming, or she just looks...
She's a little cold looking.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's almost like, this is like 1995 RBF. I think that's what this is. It's
oh my god.
Tamara, the RBF edition.
Well, at least her little artwork piece is
as
beautiful.
usual. Yeah, the artwork on the front of the box is always beautiful. I love that artwork. It's so pretty. And it's so whimsical and fanciful.
That is the perfect word for it. They're whimsical.
Oh, there you go. Whimsical.
I like that. I like, you can see the Spike's little transformation down here on the artwork. But we'll talk about Spike in a minute. But, you know, yeah, you're right, she's a little RBF. That's kind of sad. I've never really thought of her that way before. And now I won't ever think of her another way.
You will never see her differently.
I'm so sorry, fans.
So
why don't you take her away? Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about Tamara. Let's talk about Tamara. We love talking about Tamara. So I love the Tamara hair because again, it's rooted hair. I love to be able to comb it or style it or touch it and hold it, whereas it's not covered by a helmet.
So speaking of hair, is her hair? Does it have those light pink strands?
Not the same. A little bit, but not.
I can see just a few.
The Jewel Power doll is a lot more prominent. You can see it a lot more prominently. This one, not as much.
Yeah, it's much more all one color.
As the other Jewel Adventure Deluxe Edition dolls, she has her Heartstone in hand, and it's a magnetic jewel, and that interacts with a Spike that it comes with. So Spike, who is Tamara's baby panther, he comes with her, and in this particular one, he looks like he could be like falling asleep, and she wakes him up, either that or he might be under a trance. Maybe it could be like in Jewel Quest.
Yeah, I've always thought of this as in reference to the end of Jewel Quest, Part 1, the beginning of Part 2, where he jumps in front of a wild magic blast to save her.
Tamara.
Yeah, and then she, with the power of a jewel circle, heals him from that wild magic. So I've always kind of thought, I mean, that's what this reference is.
I don't know if it really says. It says, touch the magical jewel to the top of her panther's head to lift his head and open his eyes. So
I mean, otherwise she'd just be waking up her animals all the time.
Maybe she needs to. Maybe she needs to. So the rest of the packaging, there is something that we made reference to with regards to the Fallon packaging.
Right.
And Tamara's the same thing. This is a variant. So some of them have the teal colored swoosh that goes across the box, and some of them have a purple swoosh. And we talked about this because of the fact that the coloring of the jewel, the free jewel that comes with it, is dependent upon what the color of the outfit is.
Right.
So since Tamara wears a teal colored one, the purple swoosh box has a teal colored jewel on the top, so I'm assuming that the purple is the correct color for Tamara. And not only that...
And that would match her jewel power doll
right,
as
the
well.
jewel power box is purple, but also when you're looking at it, now they all have different coloring, but on the back of the box, the prototype Tamara is photographed against a purple background as well. So I think that the purple just helps Tamara to stand out because she's wearing teal.
She's such heavy teal color character that to put her up against a teal background, she does wash out. You can see a little bit, just colors wise.
And speaking of the fact that Tamara is teal colored, I know Gwenevere is all pink basically in the Jewel Adventure with some gold. And Fallon has a nice blending of the teals and the purples and everything comes together. Now, Tamara does have some pink around the front of her bodice, which what we were talking about earlier is that the other dolls, Gwenevere has a sun design on it, and Fallon has the moon.
Right in the middle.
Now, I don't see a heart in here. But you were saying that you kind of see a little bit of a heart design.
The pink around the bodice kind of forms a heart. It's unfortunately
Do you see it? I don't see it. I mean, I guess I could see the design of it.
It's there. It's there.
It's not there.
It's just, do you use that to make it? It's a little...
I don't know if it is. I really think it's just the design because Fallon has the purple that goes around her top. So I think that for me, I've always just seen it as a color. I've never seen it that it's supposed to form the shape of a heart. It does if you look at it in a certain way.
I think once again, it's like I've never actually examined the Deluxes that closely.
Well, those are my favorites. So I love the Deluxe dolls. I like the Jewel Powers, but the Deluxe ones are definitely my favorite.
Especially underneath, because once you put the outfits on them, they're just, they're the outfits. And, and the plastic piece. And like I said about the plastic pieces on Jewel Adventure Gwenevere, again with Tamara, you have to be very careful taking the plastic waist piece on and off.
Now, the difference between this one, and actually there's a little bit of a difference, and we like to talk about the quality issues with each of the editions.
Right.
The quality issue for me on Deluxe Tamara was not necessarily regarding the dress, it was regarding the bodice. Because the hard plastic, similar to when you would take on and off Tamara Jewel Powers armbands, the way that the Deluxe Tamara... I don't know, you guys could call it a corset or something like that.
It's like a corset piece.
When you put it on, it became very fragile. Now, mine actually never broke. Thankfully, it never broke. But it got to the point where I was
like a
taking...
white plastic line?
Yes, it was a stress mark. So basically it has a stress mark in the place where you constantly kept taking it off. And I think after a while, I stopped taking it off for fear of breaking it, so I never actually kept undressing her and things like that. So... For me, I never really had a problem with the Deluxe Tamara dress. I think also because of the fact that on the dress, the top piece is more of a heavier material. It's almost the material that like Drake's cape is
looks
made
like
out
the
of.
same kind of material.
It looks like the same material. Whereas the Gwenevere dress is much more of the see-through, and that's the overlay that goes over the Tamara dress.
I think that's very interesting because that's the only other place that I think that material shows up in the line.
Right.
That sateen material. Again, Tamara's got another one of those overly large hair clips
that people often put on their the wrist. It's not a bracelet
because it doesn't. Again, she's got this tiny little ponytail. I think the idea
falls right through.
I think the idea is that it's supposed to go, and the rubber band that is around the ponytail is supposed to sort of catch and hold that hair clip, but it doesn't really work in practice.
I don't know.
So the thing just falls off.
It doesn't hold. I think the other thing was, and this is really something that's really, really just for me personally. So when you're looking at the design of the hairpiece, when you're looking at it in the packaging, the whiter part is on top and it becomes more slender.
Right.
And the hearts that are printed on it, the heart in the front is up, thinking that the whiter part should go on top.
Okay.
And the other hearts transition so it's kind of like one's down, one's up, then one's down. So when you look at the back and you look at the picture of the prototype on the back of the box, I always looked at it as the whiter part, and you can see it in the line of them. The whiter part is on the bottom and the smaller part is on top. So it's almost reversed to the way that it is sitting in the package, whereas on the final doll. So for me personally...
I think nobody really knows how these are supposed to go on.
But for me, I would always kind of wonder, like, oh, did I put it on the right way, or did I put it on the wrong way?
Am I playing with my toys correctly?
Maybe only I would have been the one to ask such a question. But that was just one thing that I remember asking.
Right.
And again, we've talked about this, but each of the Jewel Adventure, the hard plastic pieces, has the jewel on them, but yet they're holding the jewel.
Right.
It's just, I guess you just gotta accept it. That's the way it is. And actually, I think that happened a couple of times in the cartoon.
Oh yeah, there would be nice
the jewel would still be on their person, and then they'd be holding the jewel.
I think there's at least one time where somebody takes the jewel off and it's still there.
Right, in another frame. And then probably in the next frame it disappeared again, and then it reappeared, and there you go.
Yeah.
And again, Tamara comes with another of the hair combs that doubles as a stand. It's a beautiful stand. It really works well, so if you want to stand up your deluxes on them, it makes for a beautiful viewing of them and a way to display them. Again, as we talked about, Tamara comes with the free jewel. It's hidden behind the artwork, and on Tamara... Even though I can't see it. It's on this side, but when you look at it, it is a teal colored jewel. So even though this says purple, this one is teal, and yet it's Tamara on the back. So it's just
who knows?
It's just a bunch of crazy color scheme. Maybe the people who were printing this really didn't think that it was a big deal. But here we are 20 something years later, still examining still talking about this blooper. Maybe someone out there who worked at Kenner is watching this video and thinking, oh, I knew I shouldn't have done that. I didn't think anyone would notice. So that's Deluxe
Tamara.
Adventure Tamara and her wonderful sister prototype on the back.
I think of note with this doll, this is the only time we get one of the babies produced. There was a sugar prototype pretty far in development where you would close its wings and its eyes would close and it would go to sleep.
See, Tamara's babies love to go to sleep
a lot apparently.
She gotta wake it up with her jewel.
And there was, in really early stages of development, I think there was a small Cleo figurine.
Yeah.
But
that was in the Enchanted Camelot
That
assortment. That was way
So Enchanted Camelot is 2 or 3 versions removed from the final product.
Right. There was Enchanted Camelot, then
Enchanted Jewel Riders,
and then Princess Guinevere and her Jewel Adventures,
where Gwenevere was spelled, with the correct spelling and not the phonetic spelling.
Well, correct spelling. It was the historically
correct Arthurian spelling of Gwenevere.
G-U-I.
Yes.
Gwenevere.
So yeah, I've always liked her largely, because she comes with another character basically. That's always been really nice. I think it would have been nice if the Deluxes as a set had each come with one of Tamara's baby animals. So Cleo could have come with Gwen since she idolizes her.
She does idolize her.
And then Sugar could have come with
Fallon.
And so you still would have had a baby dragon. It just would have been a different dragon.
Isn't that funny? It still would have been a dragon.
Yeah.
It could have worked.
I've always thought that was a little bit of a missed opportunity to pack in some extra characters.
I've never thought about that. But it's interesting because Spike was chosen as the character to be featured in the doll, and then Spike was also the character that was featured in the Long John Silver toys.
Yes, there's a small Long John Silver toy of Spike, also with closed eyes.
They sleep a lot.
Apparently, they just maybe didn't want to pay for the paint, since he was a Happy Meal equivalent toy.
I don't know. No, it's not that. You know what I've always thought of when I see that particular Spike? I think of the Fairy Princess. And I think that when he's listening to the music that Tamara's playing with...
So he's just kind of jamming out to the music.
That's what I always say.
No, I can see that. But yes, the Long John Silver's is also the only place you ever got an Archie.
Yes,
figure.
and we would use Archie to play with these dolls.
Archie is perfectly in scale with these dolls. So if you see him on eBay, get him because he's great little pack.
It is a fun thing. I know this is side because talking about Long John Silver's is just funny because you have Archie that's this size, Spike that's this size, Sunstar that's a little bit smaller, and then Guinevere's that's the same size as them.
Yeah, I mean Spike and Archie are in scale. Guinevere and Sunstar are sort of in scale.
To each other.
Yeah, I mean Sunstar's a little
shorter than Gwenevere.
And I love those Long John Silver figures because I think I have like 3 or 4 sets of them. And I think it's because it's the only time you ever see Gwen in the jacket that she wears a lot.
That would have been a fun release for one of the dolls.
Yeah, that would have been a wonderful variant.
Gwenevere.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm almost surprised, instead of Sun Power, that we didn't get like a jacket Gwen.
And that's Jewel Adventure, isn't it? Well, either way, that's the Gwenevere that we often see on advertising.
Right, yeah, she's on tons of products.
Right.
So I've always kind of wished we would have had a doll of her, but I like those adventuring outfits a lot. Tamara with the cape and the puffy white sleeves. Maybe
when there's a reboot of the toys, we're going to see fashion packs and you'll have all those fun different accessories.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we hope that you enjoyed seeing all about Tamara.
Jewel Adventure Tamara, excuse me, yeah.
Jewel Adventure Deluxe Edition Tamara.
If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, subscribe. We're always releasing new information about Jewel Riders and uncovering new and sort of interesting things about the show or the toys.
So stay tuned for the latest news.
Exactly.
And of course, share your stories with us too. We love hearing from you.
Yeah. So, I think that's it. So then, friends together.
Friends forever.
All right.
Bye.
By the magic of the Sunstone, you're tuned into the Jewel Riders Archive.